After receiving a warm welcome by the Prime Minister Modi in New Delhi, and after a three-long dinner at the 7LKM, which of course is the Prime Minister's residence, is going to be a hectic day for the Russian president in the capital city. The focus of the summit meeting between the two leaders will be boosting defense ties, insulating India-Russia trade from external pressure, and exploring cooperation in small modular reactors, which is expected to be closely watched by the Western capitals. Now, on his day-long itinerary, Putin will be accorded with a ceremonial welcome at the Rashtrapati Bhavan before the summit, after which PM Modi will host lunch for the Russian leader and his delegation at the Hyderabad House. This will be followed by press statements from both of the sides. And lastly, Putin will head to the Rashtrapati Bhavan for a meeting with President Draupadi Murmu before returning to Moscow at around 9 p.m. tonight. Well, on this, we have a guest joining us on the broadcast. We have Dimitri Semes, or the head of Sputnik India, joining us. Now, Dimitri, thank you so much for speaking to NDTV. Now, I first wish to understand from you, what exactly are your biggest takeaways from, of course, the meeting between the two leaders? And, is there any expected to be any surprise deals that will come their way?
So based on the information that we have on the Russian side, it's expected that there will be 10 intergovernmental agreements and 15 major commercial agreements. Now, I think it's important to look at the nature of the Russian delegation, which this time is unusually large and unusually diverse. You obviously have people on the military side, led by Russian Defense Minister Andrei Belousov. As Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov told a Sputnik India media briefing on Tuesday, the S-400 and the Su-57 will be high on the agenda. But I think that, obviously the defense cooperation isn't limited to those two weapon systems. There could be some interesting news about BrahMos. There could be some interesting news about submarines. There's a whole lot of different projects that have been in the works for a long time, and where we could see breakthroughs. But I also think that it's fair to say that on the business side, that's probably where we could see some of the biggest breakthroughs. Because as President Putin has said, as Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov has said, as Russian First Deputy Prime Minister Denis Monterev has said, Russia recognizes that there is a trade imbalance between it and India. And it understands that if Russia and India are to fully reach their potential in terms of bilateral trade, this trade needs to be evened out more. And that means helping Indian businesses come to Russia, sell to Russia, produce to Russia. And, now it is the best time for Indian businesses to do it. Because following the start of the Ukraine conflict, we've seen a lot of Western brands, Western corporations leave the market, and some of the niches previously occupied by these Western companies remain open. And that's an opportunity for Indian businesses to come in, gain access to a market of 150 million people, and test its products, get some useful feedback, and establish a foothold on the road at the center of Eurasia.
Right, absolutely, Mr. Sputnik. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing those details with us.